Tensions between Iran and the U.S. are escalating as protests continue throughout the country over Mahsa Amini's death. The 22-year-old died in the custody of Iran's morality police after she was detained for violating the country's laws on headscarves. Today, Iran's foreign ministry accused Washington of using the protests triggered by her death to undermine its authority. And this comes after the U.S. sanctioned the country's morality police for abuse and violence against Iranian women. So more on this, we want to bring in Roham Alvandi. He is an associate professor of international history at the London School of Economics and Political Science. Thank you so much for joining us. So I think I just want to start with kind of the basics that people may not know. What is the morality police and how influential are they?
The morality police are a government police force whose job is to enforce compulsory veiling, amongst other social restrictions on the Iranian population. And they do it brutally. I think every Iranian has encountered them at some point, particularly young Iranians. And this compulsory veiling really has become the symbol and instrument of religious dictatorship in Iran. So in other words, the ability of the regime to impose the veil on Iranian women through the morality police has become the litmus test of its ability to cling to power. So if the veil goes, so goes the Islamic Republic.
So let's talk about the protests. They've erupted in most of Iran's 31 provinces, and we're talking about a young group of protesters, though sort of what started this had to do with a young woman dying in custody over improperly wearing the veil. Not wearing it, but improperly wearing it. It is clear when you look at the images that it is not just women taking to the streets. Can we talk about this particular group of young people who continue to protest and the impact that this could have?
It's absolutely extraordinary, Anne-Marie. I mean, this is an entire generation of young Iranians who have lost hope that their leaders will ever accept the very modest reforms that they've been demanding for decades. They've lived their whole lives in a heavily securitized state, a crumbling economy, in a country isolated with the world, from the world. And they've absolutely fed up. There's a huge pool of anger and resentment that has exploded in response to the murder of Mahsa Amini for, as you say, a slight infraction of these compulsory veiling laws. I mean, if we think back, for example, to the death of Mohammed Bouazizi that sparked the Arab Spring, or George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter movement, I mean, something very similar has happened in Iran. And the excuses that the regime gives, that, this is all the work of the United States and Israel, really is completely unconvincing for this young generation. They see through these slogans and they realize that really the only goal of this regime at this point is to simply keep themselves in power with the help of their allies in Moscow and Beijing. So the anger is palpable. The demands are far beyond anything we've ever seen before. This is an entire generation that's calling not just for reform, not just for their votes to be counted, not just for the end of compulsory veiling, but an entire end to the Islamic Republic.
And, it's funny, you talk about growing up isolated from the rest of the world, but the country can be isolated, but no one can really be isolated in a world where the internet is, where there's social media. And I know the government's trying to crack down on social media, but that is part of the issue, is that you just cannot keep the outside world out. But I want to ask you about the U.S. response. So the U.S. announced sanctions against members of the morality police, essentially blocking them from access to property or assets that they have here in the United States. Is that likely to make any difference at all?
I think it will make a difference. Even symbolically, it makes a big difference. The US, in a sense, is leading the way. Britain and the United States are still trailing behind. Britain and the European Union are still trailing behind to some extent. But, this is a big contrast with the position that the US took during the 2009 protests in Iran, where there was a reluctance to speak out, lest it be seen as interference in Iran's internal affairs, or the regime might try to use any support from the US to undermine the protests in Iran. I think now what we see is support across the world, across the political spectrum, for the demands of the protesters in Iran. This is not a partisan issue in the United States. Democrats, Republicans, everyone can agree that the demands of these protesters are perfectly legitimate. All they're asking for are the very basic freedoms that you and I take for granted in our daily lives.
Roham, thank you very much.
My pleasure.